Hello everybody, welcome to this video. You know, it's been sort of a busy week here at the Offhand Studios. We were at Disneyland earlier this week filming and talking and doing things at Throwback Night and California Adventure, the Disney 100 celebration, Food and Wine. I have a video coming on Throwback Night later on, and it's been so busy that I figured why not just do a fun, sort of casual video talking about some fun facts about Disneyland, Walt Disney World, and maybe Disney parks around the world. We'll see. I am not really planning this one out, but I am going to talk about some cool facts that you may not know about Disneyland, Disney World, and other parks. So it's just a casual one. Grab a snack, sit down on the couch, and relax with me as we go through the top 10 fun facts about the Disney parks. Very generic title, but it's gonna work. It's gonna work. It'll be fine. Okay, it's good. You know, when you're at Disneyland and you're standing in the hub and you look toward each of the lanes, you can see directly into that land, right? The main promenade of Frontierland back to the Mark Twain. You can see through the castle into Fantasyland and back through Tomorrowland to the, I guess, former People Mover loading station. But there is one land at Disneyland that you cannot see into from the hub, and that is Adventureland, unless you like looking at bathrooms. Then in that case, you go crazy. Sightlines, of course, as we all know, are very important to the Disney parks, and Walt wanted the park to sort of feel connected, except for Adventureland, because you are journeying into the jungle, you're journeying into uncharted territory. Who knows what may be waiting around the corner from those bathrooms in the Tiki Room. So if you're standing in the hub looking toward Adventureland, your view of the land is purposefully obscured to give the land more of an air of mystery and, of course, adventure. And also, a little bonus fun fact for you, you will not find any churro or popcorn carts in Adventureland. That's because, why would they be serving churros and popcorn in the jungle? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know why they'd be serving vitamin water in the jungle either, but you know, it's consistency, okay? Just another cool little attention to detail at Walt Disney's original Magic Kingdom, Disneyland. Another fun fact from the hub of Disneyland, and actually sort of relating to the hub at the Magic Kingdom, has to do with the disparity in the number of visits per year of tourists versus locals, because at Disneyland, the hub is full of trees. Yeah, I shouldn't say full, but there are numerous trees at Disneyland's hub. That way it sort of adds to the atmosphere of it being a Main Street town center. It gives guests that shade during the hot summer months and also looks beautiful when the trees start to bloom in the springtime. Believe me, I was just there. Meanwhile, if you were to visit the Magic Kingdom over in Orlando, you would notice that the hub does not contain nearly any trees. Actually, there's no trees. Yeah, there's some in the outskirts, you know, around the castle moat, but there are none in the actual hub, you know, near the partners statue. It was something I noticed this last week at Disneyland that I mentioned to my wife, and she said it's probably because, this is her running theory, the Magic Kingdom's hub does not contain any trees because fireworks viewing is that much more important to the people, the tourists who would only visit maybe once every couple of years or once in their lives. If you and your family saved up for years to go to Walt Disney World just this one time and your view of the fireworks was obscured by a big tree, I wouldn't blame you for being upset. Meanwhile, over at Disneyland, where there are more locals, more repeat visitors, the view of the fireworks isn't as important. It isn't as crucial. I mean, obviously, we'd all like to have a good vantage point, but if your view is a little obscured by like half a tree, it's not going to completely ruin it. You can come back tomorrow night and try again if you want. Oddly enough, this was not the case when the Magic Kingdom opened, though. The hub was full of trees just like Disneyland, but over time they sort of scaled that back and replaced them with hedges and bushes. Now, depending on who you ask, the lack of trees and, I guess, shade in the hub at the Magic Kingdom is either a good thing or a bad thing. I can kind of understand both viewpoints, but that's a little fun fact for you. Look around at the trees next time you're at Disneyland, or lack thereof in the Magic Kingdom. Now, I got some flack, okay, maybe rightfully so, when I rode the Casey Jr. Circus train for the very first time last year and gave it a resounding, I guess. But this classic opening day attraction does feature one fun fact that I think most of you will be interested to learn, and that is that the engine, the front of the train, Casey Jr. himself, is not the car that pulls the train. If you look at the actual circus train ride vehicle, you will see that most of the cars have blue wheels, except for one, the second car, the one with the pipe organ on it. This car's wheels are black because this is the true source, the driving force behind the power of the Casey Jr. Circus train. It both pushes Casey Jr. in front of it and pulls all of the cars behind it. Therefore, it needs special wheels. And because the wheels are special, of course, they aren't painted blue. Remember that next time you're shoved into a cage that's too small for you and you have to sit as Casey Jr. chugs through Fantasyland, albeit enjoying some nice views along the way, I'll admit. Number 7, did you know that Epcot is my favorite park at the Walt Disney World Resort? Wait, why did that still say 7? Okay, you want a real Epcot fun fact. Okay, strap in. Do you all miss Maelstrom? Do any of you miss Maelstrom? I know that there are some people out there who do, and I understand. And though it may have closed and made way for Frozen, Maelstrom is without a doubt still in Epcot's DNA and the Norway Pavilion physically as well. It's there. If you look outside the Royal Summer House, which is where you can meet Anna and Elsa, there will be runestones sitting in the lawn in front of their vacation home. Pretty cool. They look Norwegian. They look like they were carved by some Vikings a very long time ago, but if you know how to read the runic alphabet, the wording on this runestone may bring some memories back. For those of you who aren't familiar, allow me to translate. You are not the first to pass this way, nor will you be the last. Those who seek the spirit of Norway face peril and adventure, but more often find beauty and charm. Is that ringing any bells?
You are not the first to pass this way, nor shall you be the last. Those who seek the spirit of Norway face peril and adventure, but more often find beauty and charm.
It's the spiel from the beginning lift hill of Maelstrom. See, I told you can take the Maelstrom out of the Epcot, but you can't take the Epcot out of the Maelstrom. You know, I'll work on that saying, but you know, it's a little Maelstrom reference. It's fun. It's cool. Kind of looks like a G. Here's a fun one. Any Disney adults in the chat? Disney adults, raise your hand. I can't see you. Hidden Mickeys are a big part of Disney culture. Everyone's always looking for hidden Mickeys wherever they are in the parks, or even sometimes in the movies. The hub for Hollywood Studios used to be a hidden Mickey, not so much anymore. And Disneyland Drive also features the biggest hidden Mickey at Disneyland. But did you know there is a giant one also at Animal Kingdom? And it's actually built into one of their rides. See, if you go to Google Maps or Apple Maps or Maps, I guess any map will do, and you look at a bird's eye view of Expedition Everest, you will notice the very familiar 3-circle pattern in the tracks and the actual sort of layout of Expedition Everest, forming that ever-present, baked into the landscaping and theming of Animal Kingdom, Hidden Mickey. I saw this fun fact somewhere and I was like, oh, that's cool, I'll Google the track layout, and I saw this picture and I said, I don't think that's a hidden Mickey, but once you put the mountain into the perspective, you know, it all sort of clicks together. It starts to make more sense. Oh, now that one looks like an ass. All right, since it's the middle of the list, you know what I like to do in the middle of my park day? Let's go back to the resort and rest. That's right. So let's head over to one of the Walt Disney World resorts, the Wilderness Lodge, and sit by the fire. A very interesting looking fireplace. You'll notice as you're relaxing by the fire that the layers of rock change as it works its way up toward the ceiling. Inspired by the Bright Angel Lodge, a real lodge at the Grand Canyon that has a quarried fireplace from the canyon wall itself, the Wilderness Lodge fireplace is built to scale, accurately featuring the different geological layers of the Grand Canyon. All of the layers that you see line up with the rock and sediment layers of the Grand Canyon. In the fireplace, you can also find different fossilized plants and animals from the Grand Canyon region as well. So if you want to just do a quick glance over millions of years of geological history, just head over to the Wilderness Lodge and warm up by that fireplace. Also, there's a stream that runs through the lobby. That place is great. I should visit more often. Alright, that's marginally better. Meanwhile, over across the Pacific Pond at Tokyo Disney Sea, you may be familiar that the icon of the park is Mount Prometheus, a giant volcano that sometimes spews fire to the delight and fear of guests beneath it. Prometheus serves as the weenie for the park. Think Cinderella Castle, Spaceship Earth, Carthay Circle, those are weenies. And because it's the same height as Cinderella Castle, Disney takes certain steps to make sure that the sightlines and the theming of each of the lands at Tokyo Disney Sea is not interrupted by a giant flame-spewing volcano. For example, in the mysterious island land at the park, Mount Prometheus serves as sort of a mining hub. You can see all the tools and all the equipment used to mine into Mount Prometheus. Meanwhile, at the American waterfront, it's more of a grassy hill with more trees. It's more welcoming. And from Mediterranean Harbor, the entrance to the park, it serves as sort of an Italian Mount Vesuvius-like volcano. As opposed to a castle, which is a castle no matter where you look at it from, no matter how you slice it, Cinderella Castle castle is a castle, I think the fact that depending on where you are at the park, Mount Prometheus takes on a different character meant to blend into that land that you're standing in, and I think that's really neat. The only other Disney weenie that could sort of blend into the landscape no matter what land you're standing in is the Tree of Life at Animal Kingdom, but it's a tree. Come on. There's tons of those. They're everywhere. Unless you're in the hub at the Magic Kingdom. Ooh! Jumping back over the Pacific Pond and then over the Atlantic Pond to Disneyland Paris, we arrive at Discoveryland. Disneyland Paris's answer to the Tomorrowland problem. Tomorrow always arrives, and so Tomorrowland is always out of date, but not Discoveryland. No, this is based on a fake future, or perhaps a steampunk-inspired past. Now, we all know that Euro Disneyland, when it opened, was a bit of a disaster, but Michael Eisner had an ace up his sleeve, and that ace was named Space Mountain. Now, it wasn't always Space Mountain from the Earth to the Moon, which is what it was when it opened. In fact, Discovery Mountain was the original concept, a sort of pavilion inside of Discoveryland. It featured not only a roller coaster, but also a drop tower, like the Tower of Terror, and a clone of Horizons, amongst other attractions. This thing was going to be packed full of rides. Now, all of this was planned before the opening of Euro Disneyland failed, and of course, when it did, budget cuts had to happen. And so instead of the big Discovery Mountain Pavilion with a bunch of rides and restaurants and walk-through attractions, instead it would just be Discovery Mountain, the roller coaster. And so they ended up building what we know today as From the Earth to the Moon, but the name at the time was still Discovery Mountain. All the way nearly up until opening, they had built the signs, everything for Discovery Mountain was essentially done before Disney sort of got cold feet and decided to capitalize more on the Space Mountain name, and thus Space Mountain From the Earth to the Moon was born and Discovery Mountain died. But there is a remnant on a bridge leading up to Space Mountain. Mission 2. Hyperspace Mountain. You can see the monogram DM on the bridge leading to Hyperspace Mountain. Now, I knew all about the Discovery Mountain concept, but I did not know about the remnants of the bridge that were left over from the old name. Credit for that's got to go to my friend TPM Vids. Go ahead, I'm going to put a card in the corner of the screen right now. Make sure to go over there after this video to watch his informational video on fun facts and secrets around all of Disneyland Paris. But this is the one that I thought was most interesting, just the remnants of a lost attraction. Kind of. I mean, it's Star Wars now. Now we head back over to Epcot, to the very back of the park, to the very back of the Italy Pavilion, to Via Napoli. Now, of course, being an Italian restaurant, you have to have those oven-fired pizzas, but of course, you know, we're at Disney here. Not every oven is created equal, and Disney goes above and beyond with their ovens. Now, the story of the restaurant is that it was founded in old horse stables that were constructed by the family who helped build the palazzo, the plaza, outside. And the 3 ovens were created by a local artisan, and of course they each have their own names, Stromboli, Vesuvio, and Etna. Of course as an homage to 3 of Italy's most famous, and sometimes infamous, volcanoes. And is it just me, or did these 3 ovens always sort of look like Muppets to anyone else? I don't know why, they just sort of give off that Muppet vibe. So next time you're about to take a bite out of your pizza at Via Napoli, just remember that it has been in someone else's mouth before. That someone, of course, being a Muppet-esque oven named after a volcano. You're welcome. And finally, number 1 on our list, the last entry, the best one of them all, takes us not to any Disney park, not to Disneyland, not to Epcot, but instead back home to the studio, where I can show you this. I mean this, a Monorail Coral trading card. Or I guess collectible card. Next time you're about to board a monorail or a Disney bus or any other form of transportation, make sure to ask very politely, very kindly, the operator of that transportation vehicle if they have any of the collector's cards. There are 33 of them to collect, and there's some fun facts on the back. It's a whole lot of fun. I highly recommend trying to get all of these, even though this is my only one. My goal right now is to get all of the monorails, specifically all of the monorails, but you can collect many other collector's cards, and I highly recommend doing it. It's just a fun way to pass the time, and it's some cool Disney collectibles that you can get that are kind of rare, and they cost no money. So that's the title of this video. It's Disney facts that you shouldn't care about. So here you go. It's just something fun, something neat, something extra for people to collect. That's number 1 on the list? All right. These were truly 10 Disney facts that didn't matter. I hope you enjoyed watching this and going through all of these facts that ultimately make no difference in your life or in your Disney trip. You know, I've already done top 10 Disney facts that nobody cares about. Here, this video is top 10 facts that don't matter at all. I'm trying to think of like a part 3, maybe like top 10 Disney facts that will put you to sleep, top 10 Disney facts that will give you a cough that won't go away for a couple weeks, something like that. Top 10 hidden Mickeys that will make you want to run to your local grocery store and buy a bag of chips. You know, something hyper specific like that. Okay, end card time. Hi there, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, also be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, want more top 10 Disney facts like this that nobody should really care about, but for some reason, you stuck around to the end of the video, so that means you do, and I thank you for that. Like I said, sort of a quick thrown together, cobbled together video this week. I didn't have too much time to make it. I hope that's not too apparent. I did have a lot of fun making it though. A very big thank you to my Patreon patrons over at Patreon. It's actually just patreon.com. If you want to join their ranks, get early access to some videos, not this one. Unfortunately, again, this one was thrown together at the last minute. Head over there and even just $1 a month will get you access to most of the perks, including early episodes, sneak peeks, audio, things like that. It's gonna be great. It'd be great. Come see, okay? It'll be cool. Again, a massive thank you to them, and be sure to follow me on my other social media accounts on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I am at Offhand Disney on all of those places to make it a little bit easier for you. You don't have to memorize like offhand_Disney or an offhand full stop Disney. Nope, it's just a Offhand Disney. Pretty easy. And that, I think, takes us to the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed. I have like I said, a throwback video coming, hopefully later on the next week or so. There was a People Mover stand-up that kind of disappointed me. I'll talk about that later. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next one. I'm rambling. Goodbye.